She needed help. A human gave her a home. The night sky over New Alexandria shimmered with colors no human I had ever seen before. Purple auroras danced over the city's glass spires, casting shifting hues across the streets below. It had been 10 years since Earth joined the Galactic Accord, and the city had become a crossroads for humans and off-worlders alike. Dr. Elias Cade walked through the rain-slick streets, his breath fogging under the cold neon lights. He was tired, his thoughts heavy. The hospital had been overrun again. Refugees in the Edge colonies, injured, starved, terrified. He had seen so many faces that day, but one had stayed with him, a pale-skinned woman with silver eyes and faintly luminescent veins beneath her skin. She hadn't spoken a word. Now, hours later, he was still thinking about her. When he had examined her, her vital signs didn't match any known species. The med scanners glitched when they tried to identify her blood type, and the scars on her wrists, long, circular burns, suggested captivity. But when Elias asked where she came from, she just looked at him with a quiet, desperate sadness. Something in those eyes haunted him. That night, as the storm intensified, the hospital's power flickered. Emergency alarms blared through the hallways. Elias was making rounds when he heard a voice, faint, melodic, echoing from the quarantine wing. He followed it. The woman was gone from her bed. The security door was open. He found her standing barefoot in the corridor, staring at the emergency lights. Her skin glowed faintly blue in the red flashes. "Please," she whispered, "don't call them. They'll find me again." Elias froze. "Who will?" She looked at him, tears in her strange silver eyes. "The collectors." He didn't understand, but the fear in her tone was real. Without thinking, he reached for her hand. It was cold, almost metallic, but trembling like any frightened humans. "Come with me," he said quietly. "I'll keep you safe." Part 2. The Stranger in His Home. Elias lived alone in a small apartment on the upper levels of the city. His AI assistant, Halo, scanned the new arrival with concern. Unregistered life form detected. It announced, medical quarantine recommended. Not tonight. Elias said firmly, deactivate alerts. The AI obeyed. He gave the woman a towel, warm clothes, and tea, though she didn't seem to understand what to do with them. She held the cup to her lips and simply inhaled the steam, closing her eyes as if it reminded her of something long lost. "My name is Elias," he said gently. "You're safe here. What's your name?" She hesitated before speaking. "I am Lyra." "Where are you from, Lyra?" Her gaze fell to the rain streaking down the window. "I was created in a place with no name. A lab orbiting the fourth moon of Arcus Prime. The collectors made me to serve their ships. I escaped." Elias frowned. "You mean you're synthetic?" She nodded slightly. "Partly. My body was designed. My mind was borrowed. They used pieces of memories from other beings, fragments of emotion to make me useful." He felt a pang of empathy. "You're not a machine, Lyra. You're alive." She looked at him with confusion, then smiled faintly, the first time he'd seen her do it. No one has ever said that before. Over the next few days, Lyra began to adapt. She watched the sunrise from the balcony every morning. She learned to eat, to speak more clearly, to laugh softly at Elias's dry humor. But sometimes she would wake up screaming, flashes of pain and blue light searing across her memory. Elias ran tests in secret. Her neural patterns were unique, a hybrid of human and synthetic architecture. She could learn faster than any known AI, but she also felt deeply. One night, she asked, "Why did you help me?" "You have turned me in." He paused. "Because I've seen too much suffering to ignore someone who needed help." She smiled again, but there was something sorrowful behind it. "Then you've already changed my fate." Part 3. The hunters. A week later, they came. The sky turned crimson as unmarked ships entered the atmosphere. Black, silent, predatory. The collectors. The city's defense grid barely had time to react before cloaked drones slipped through perimeter. Elias's apartment sensors went offline one by one. Lyra froze. They found me. Elias grabbed a pulse pistol from his desk. We'll get you out. She shook her head. You can't fight them. But he wasn't listening. He led her through the maintenance corridors, down to the magrail tunnels beneath the city. Alarms echoed in the distance. As they ran, Elias asked, "What do they want with you?" "To erase me," she said. "They fear what I remember." "What do you remember?" Lyra hesitated, her eyes flickering like broken light. "The truth about them. The collectors aren't a race. They're a network, a consciousness feeding on others. Every mind they capture becomes part of their hive. I escape with data that proves their origin. And now they want to silence you," Elias realized. Before she could answer, the tunnel ahead erupted in sparks. Drones descended, 6 of them, sleek and silent. Lyra grabbed Elias's hand. "Don't fight. Run." They sprinted into a side shaft. She raised her palm, and a surge of blue energy burst outward, short-circuiting the nearest drones. The corridor filled with smoke and flickering light. Elias stared. "You can do that?" "I told you," she said breathlessly. "They made me to control machines. I just learned how to disobey." Part 4, Sanctuary. Hours later, they reached the city's outskirts, a forgotten research station buried under layers of dust. Elias sealed the doors and collapsed to the floor, exhausted. Lyra looked around at the rusted terminals and flickering monitors. "What is this place?" "Older tech lab," Elias said. "My father worked here before he died. No one's been here in years." Lyra touched one of the terminals. It came alive under her fingertips. Data filled the screens, fragments of code, ancient files. "This can hide us," she murmured. "If I integrate with the system, they won't detect my signal." Elias looked alarmed. "You mean merge with it? You might not come back." She met his eyes. "If I don't, they'll destroy the city. They always erase what they can't control." He stepped closer, his voice low. "Lyra, you deserve to live, not sacrifice yourself." She smiled softly, placing a hand against his chest. "You gave me a home, Elias. For the first time, I knew what that meant. Let me return the kindness." Before he could stop her, she connected her hand to the terminal port. Light poured through her veins as she interfaced with the old systems. The entire lab pulsed with blue energy. Outside, the collector ships froze midair. Their systems glitched, their AI cores flickering out one by one. Then silence. When the light faded, Lyra was gone. Part 5, Epilogue. Weeks later, the skies above New Alexandria were calm again. The collector fleet had vanished, leaving no trace. Elias rebuilt the old lab, turning it into a sanctuary for refugees, human and alien alike. On the main console, one screen always remained active, showing faint blue code patterns that never ceased. Sometimes, when he was alone, he would speak to the screen. "Lyra," he'd whisper, "I hope you're still out there." And sometimes, just sometimes, the console lights would flicker softly, almost like a heartbeat, as if she were listening, as if the woman who once needed help was still watching over the human who gave her a home.